Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then hi, welcome. My name is Anna, and today we are going to be talking about MTHFR and how that gene mutation can and does affect fertility. Before we get into the video, I'm going to give you a little disclaimer. I am not a doctor. Everything I'm going to be talking about in today's video is based on my own fertility journey, my own MTHFR gene mutation, as well as what I have been told by my medical professionals and research that I've done. So let's get into it. I am going to be making a full video of my whole fertility story and how long it took us to get pregnant and what all we had to do to get pregnant. But today I'm going to be focusing on MTHFR, what it is, what it does to your body, and how it affected me and how I have been able to fight it and was able to get pregnant. So what does MTHFR stand for? I'm going to try and pronounce the word, although I'm sorry if I butcher it. I'm going to read it off of my notebook. And if you are a professional and you know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry that this is going to sound terrible. But it stands for methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. I hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly. But basically what it is, it's a gene mutation that affects or inhibits the way that you process B vitamins as well as folate. Folate is the natural form of folic acid, which is what it's most known for, but folic acid is a man-made synthetic form of folate. The natural form of folate is actually methylated folate. People who test positive for the MTHFR mutation usually will have one or two mutations, or variants is what they call them. And when you have two mutations, it puts you at a way higher risk for a lot of different medical conditions, including fertility issues. Now, gene mutations are inherited, so most likely in my case, because I have a 2 variant mutation, I got a mutation from each one of my parents. You get one copy of the MTHFR gene from each parent, and I don't know if I'm doing my math correctly or if I understand the gene mutations correctly. Most likely both of my parents had one variant and I happen to get that. So some of the medical conditions or complications that have been linked to MTHFR are blood clots, strokes, heart attacks, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, colon cancer, leukemia, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, nerve pain, migraines, reoccurring miscarriages, chemical pregnancies, which I'll talk about that in just a second, fertility issues, and neural tube defects in babies. So folate, like I said before, the natural form of folic acid, is actually an essential nutrient for fertility. It helps regulate your DNA, and it also is super essential for hormone synthesis, which of course you need for pregnancy. So a chemical pregnancy is basically a very early miscarriage. The way that it was explained to me is that the egg came out, the sperm met up with the egg, they traveled together, became a little, I don't know if that's even called an embryo yet. I think it's called something else. I'll look it up and put it up here somewhere. But they met, and then they tried to attach to the uterine wall. Something happened. It didn't quite attach correctly or hard enough, and you passed it through and had a period. A lot of women don't actually even realize that they had chemical pregnancies or they had these early miscarriages because their period was just a couple of days late, and maybe there was just a little bit of extra clotting, a little bit of extra cramps. But for some women, really bad cramping and heavier periods is normal or can be normal, and so it's possible that you didn't actually realize that you were pregnant. Now, I know that I had for sure one chemical pregnancy. It was confirmed by my doctor at the time. But throughout the years, there was several times when I had late periods and I had weird symptoms, and I thought that I could be pregnant, but then I just got my period and I was like, oh, I guess I wasn't pregnant. So most likely I've been told that I probably had other early miscarriages or chemical pregnancies and just didn't know about it. So now that I'm done scaring you with all the crazy, horrible things that MTHFR is, it's not the end of the world. It's a gene mutation, so it's not curable, but you can fight it, you can get pregnant, you don't have to get sick, and it's actually fairly simple to combat, I guess is the best way to say it. So because MTHFR affects the way that your body processes B vitamins and folate, the best treatment is actually supplementing with B vitamins and folate. When you are trying to conceive, it is recommended that you find a prenatal vitamin that has methylated folate instead of folic acid. Folic acid, because it's synthetic, your body can't process it as well, and when you are positive for MTHFR, you specifically can't process it. And so it's very, very highly recommended that you take a methylated folate so that you have folic acid in your system. One, so that you can get pregnant, and two, so that you don't end up having neural tube issues with your baby, or your baby doesn't end up having neural tube disorders. Another way that you can fight MTHFR is with your diet. There is a whole bunch of foods that are really high in B vitamins, really high in folate. Starting with the proteins, beans, peas, lentils. With veggies, you have spinach, asparagus, lettuce, beets, broccoli, corn, Brussels sprouts, bok choy. With fruits, you have cantaloupe, honeydew, bananas, raspberries, grapefruit, and strawberries. You can also drink orange juice, canned pineapple juice, grapefruit juice, tomato juice, and other random foods that are also really high in folate are peanut butter and sunflower seeds. There are some things that you also want to avoid when it comes to your diet. You want to avoid alcohol, which if you're trying to get pregnant, you should be avoiding alcohol anyways. And you want to avoid synthetic folic acid, like I said before. And you want to be careful when you're buying things like cereals, pastas, breads, because sometimes they add synthetic folic acid in those things. Like I mentioned before, MTHFR is a gene mutation. It's not a disease that you can cure, and so it's something that I'm going to be living with for the rest of my life. I am not currently trying to get pregnant, and so I am not trying really hard to supplement too much. I am mostly just working on my diet and eating a lot of high B vitamin and high folate diets, and I also don't drink alcohol. I am very careful not to have anything that has synthetic folic acid in it, but if I do decide to try and get pregnant again, I will definitely be supplementing, because it is something that is so important for fertility, at least in my case, because I do have the 2 variant MTHFR mutation. And that is all that I had to share with you guys today. Thank you guys so much for being here. I am so excited for the next few videos coming up. The very next one is my fertility story. I am really excited to talk about this. I'm also really excited for the other videos, fertility related, that are coming up, so be on the lookout for that. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we post next, and we will see you next time.